It was a cold-blooded execution in broad daylight. On the afternoon of July 1st, 2016, 55-year-old Daithí Douglas was taking a break at his partner's shoe shop on a busy Dublin street. The ordinary scene was shattered in an instant. A hooded assassin appeared at the door. 6 shots rang out, and Douglas fell, his life ending in a hail of bullets. The killer, showing chilling confidence, let the murder weapon clatter to the ground beside his victim before vanishing back into the bustling city streets. The hit was meticulous, a dark masterpiece of lethal planning. But the order for Daithí Douglas's death wasn't given over a drug shipment or a territory dispute. His death warrant was sealed by a whisper, a persistent and ultimately false rumor that, in the paranoid world of Dublin's Hutch-Kinahan feud, was as good as a death sentence. This is the story of how underworld gossip was weaponized with deadly efficiency, and how a ruthless criminal cell was dispatched to slaughter a man, not for what he had done, but for what he was wrongly accused of. What do you think is more dangerous in the criminal underworld, a rival's bullet or a false rumor? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below, and if you find this story compelling, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe for more deep dives into true crime. The underworld's paranoid climate. How could a simple rumor have the power to kill? To understand, you have to know the pressure cooker environment of Dublin in 2016. The city was in the grip of its most violent gang war in a generation, the infamous Hutch-Kinahan feud. This conflict erupted into public consciousness just months earlier with a brazen assault at the Regency Hotel. During a packed boxing weigh-in, armed men, some disguised as elite police, stormed the building, killing a key Kinahan cartel member, David Byrne. That single event ignited a firestorm. The Kinahan organized crime group, an international cartel known for its brutality, unleashed its full force against the rival Hutch gang and anyone associated with them. This became a scorched earth campaign that would ultimately claim 18 lives. The atmosphere was one of pure, corrosive paranoia. The criteria for becoming a target grew wider by the week. Being seen with a Hutch family member or attending a Hutch funeral was enough to get you marked for death. In this climate of suffocating fear, the line between fact and fiction blurred completely. The underworld became a powder keg of mistrust. The Kinahan cartel, enraged and publicly humiliated by the Regency attack, demanded absolute loyalty. Their method for dealing with suspected disloyalty was brutal and final. There were no courts or appeals, only accusation, which was synonymous with execution. It was into this superheated pressure cooker that a fatal rumor about Daithí Douglas was dropped, turning a whisper into a death sentence. The Hutch-Kinahan feud created a level of fear that turned neighbors against each other. Have you ever witnessed a community gripped by a similar level of paranoia? Share your experience in the comments, and consider sharing this video to help others understand the story. Who was Daithí Douglas? Daithí Douglas was no innocent bystander. He was a man steeped in Dublin's criminal underworld. At 55, he was a survivor with a criminal record stretching back decades. He was a known entity to the Gardaí, Ireland's national police. In a bizarre detail from his past, he had once worked as a zookeeper at Dublin Zoo before embarking on a life of crime. A strange juxtaposition of caring for animals and navigating a world of human predators. This history made him a familiar face, but in the new world of the feud, a long past with a long list of potential grievances that could be used against him. Just months before his murder, in November 2015, Douglas had already survived one assassination attempt. He was shot and seriously wounded while walking his dog near his home, but he pulled through. While he recovered, the underworld started talking. To survive a professional hit is rare, and it immediately breeds dangerous questions. Was he just lucky, or was the hit not meant to succeed? The whispers born from his unlikely survival painted a target on his back, and they would soon merge with a new, more specific, and far more dangerous rumor that would leave him no chance of escape. Douglas's story is a chilling example of how surviving one attempt on your life can ironically make you a bigger target. Does what doesn't kill you makes you stronger? Or, in the underworld, does it just paint a bigger target on your back? Comment below, and subscribe for more character studies from the world of crime. The birth of a deadly rumor. The rumor that sealed Daithí Douglas's fate was a specific and damning accusation. He was falsely linked to the planning of a failed assassination attempt on a Kinahan cartel associate in November 2015. In the bloody reality of the feud, any hint of involvement in an attack on the Kinahans demanded a swift and merciless response. The gossip spread like wildfire. It didn't matter that there was no proof or that it contradicted the fact that Douglas himself had been shot around the same time. What makes this so chilling is that the Gardaí had actually investigated these same claims. They looked into his potential involvement in that failed hit, and their conclusion was unequivocal. He had a solid alibi. The evidence showed he was nowhere near the scene. Officially, forensically, and factually, he was innocent of the very crime the underworld had already condemned him for. But in a shadow war, where suspicion was a capital offense, the official truth was irrelevant. The justice was swift, certain, and final. The rumor had taken on a life of its own, morphing from baseless gossip into an accepted fact. Once the Kinahan cartel's leadership heard the accusation, Douglas's fate was sealed. The decision to kill him was likely a cold, businesslike order to eliminate a perceived threat. There would be no trial, no questions asked, no chance for Douglas to defend himself. The whispers had become a death warrant, and a kill team was about to be activated. This section highlights the terrifying gap between official justice and underworld justice. Which do you think is a more powerful force in certain communities, and why? Let us know your perspective in the comments. If you're finding this analysis insightful, please hit the like button and subscribe. The kill cell activates. With the kill order given, the contract on Daithí Douglas was handed down to a ruthless, highly organized criminal cell in Dublin. Investigators would later describe the plot as a meticulously planned assassination. Their first step was surveillance. This was a sophisticated operation involving spotters and a fleet of at least 4 cars used to track Douglas's every move and identify the perfect moment to strike. For days, they watched his home and his partner's shop, clinically preparing to end his life. Court documents later pulled back the curtain on this intricate web. The plot involved multiple vehicles, including a stolen Volkswagen Golf, a Ford Fiesta, and a Suzuki Swift, allowing the killers to move without attracting attention and have a layered series of getaway options. The man directing this deadly orchestra on the ground was one of the most notorious figures in the Irish underworld, Fat Freddie Thompson. A high-ranking Kinahan member, Thompson wasn't the gunman. His role was arguably more critical. He was the on-the-ground commander, ensuring every part of the machine worked in lethal harmony. The cell's planning was so thorough that they were fully aware Douglas's family, including his partner and teenage daughter, were often at the shoe shop. This high probability of inflicting unimaginable trauma on innocent people did not deter them. It was factored in as acceptable collateral damage. Their objective was singular: execute Daithí Douglas and send a message. The machine was in motion, grinding inexorably towards its target. The level of planning here mirrors a professional military operation. Does this cold, detached organization surprise you? Hit the like button and subscribe. Then comment on the psychology of a killer who can plan an execution while viewing human life as mere collateral damage. Execution on Bridgefoot Street. On Friday, July 1st, 2016, the deadly plan snapped into place. At around 4:10 p.m., Daithí Douglas was inside Shoestown, the shoe shop his partner owned. He was taking a break, a fleeting moment of peace. Outside, the Ford Fiesta, driven by Fat Freddie Thompson himself, did one last slow pass to confirm the target was in place. For minutes later, the assassin arrived. Alone, hooded figure walked deliberately to the shop's entrance. He raised a semi-automatic pistol and opened fire without a word. Douglas was hit 6 times in his head, chest, and body in a rapid, brutal succession. The attack was over in seconds. An eyewitness later testified that the killer smirked before calmly turning away. In a final act of dominance, he dropped the gun at the scene, next to his victim's head, before walking away. The first person to raise the alarm was Douglas's own teenage daughter. She had been in the shop that day and ran to her father, discovering an unimaginable scene of horror. Paramedics rushed to the scene, but it was too late. Daithí Douglas was pronounced dead at a local hospital. The rumor, born in whispers and fueled by paranoia, had finally claimed its victim in the most brutal fashion imaginable, leaving a family shattered. The horror of this moment, especially for Douglas's daughter, is hard to comprehend. It's a stark reminder that true crime stories are about real human tragedy. If this story touches you, please share it. In the comments, let's discuss. How can communities even begin to heal from such public acts of brutality? The digital breadcrumbs. In the aftermath, the killers seem to have vanished. They left no fingerprints, no DNA, no obvious clues. But in a modern city, thousands of digital eyes are always watching. The killers had left a trail of digital breadcrumbs across Dublin's vast surveillance network. The Garda investigation that followed was a masterclass in painstaking modern policing. It was built on what prosecutors would later call a mosaic of circumstantial evidence. Detectives embarked on the colossal task of analyzing thousands of hours of CCTV footage. They began to track the movements of the 4 cars used in the plot, watching frame by agonizing frame as the gang's sinister plan unfolded. They meticulously traced the cars, their timing, and the people getting in and out of them. This digital manhunt led them straight to the operations commander, Freddie Thompson. In one crucial piece of footage, they found him on the day of the murder, clumsily handling a mobile phone used to coordinate the hit. The trail didn't stop there. 3 days after the murder, some members of the panic cell were caught on camera in a foolish attempt to destroy one of the getaway cars by setting it on fire. Far from covering their tracks, this arrogant act was captured clearly on CCTV, providing a direct link between the men and a vehicle used in the assassination. The police work in this case was incredible, like putting together a giant puzzle, but relied heavily on mass surveillance. Is citywide CCTV a net positive for justice or a worrying invasion of privacy? We want to hear your take in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe for more stories of cutting-edge detective work. The net closes. The mountain of CCTV and forensic evidence became overwhelming. In November 2016, 4 months after the murder, the net closed around Fat Freddie Thompson. He was arrested and charged with the murder of Daithí Douglas. His trial was held before the non-jury special criminal court, a system designed to prevent the jury intimidation powerful crime syndicates often use. Prosecutors argued that while Thompson was not the triggerman, his role as the on-site coordinator was just as integral to the murder. The court agreed, and in 2018, Freddie Thompson was found guilty of murder and handed a mandatory life sentence. With Thompson behind bars, the rest of the cell followed. Gareth Brophy, a getaway driver, was sentenced to 10 years. Nathan Foley received a 6-year sentence for logistical support. Then, in 2021, another key associate, Hutch-Kinahan, faced trial. The prosecution argued Kinahan was the smirking triggerman, but the court ruled there wasn't enough evidence to prove it. However, he was convicted as a principal member of the joint enterprise to commit murder. This legal doctrine meant he shared equal guilt for the outcome. He, too, received a life sentence. The legal concept of joint enterprise is fascinating. Do you agree with this principle? Should the planner get the same sentence as the person who pulled the trigger? Discuss this complex legal and moral question in the comments section, and hit subscribe for more legal breakdowns. The murder of Daithí Douglas is one of the most chilling episodes of the Hutch-Kinahan feud. It encapsulates the brutal, irrational logic that drove the conflict. It was a war where mere association or an unproven rumor was enough to get a man killed in the most public way. The state's own investigation made it clear that Douglas was innocent of the crime he was rumored to have committed. He had an alibi, but in the court of the underworld, he had already been tried and sentenced to death by gossip. The convictions of Fat Freddie Thompson and his cell marked a major victory for the Gardaí. The case demonstrated how a modern, technology-driven investigation could dismantle a sophisticated murder conspiracy. It sent a powerful message that even the most feared criminal gangs were not untouchable. and the digital ghosts of their crimes could come back to haunt them in a court of law. Yet, beyond the court verdicts, the story of Daithí Douglas is a painful reminder of the devastating human cost of organized crime. A man was executed at his partner's place of business, in front of his daughter. He wasn't killed for what he did, but for what people whispered he did. His death is a grim testament to a world where a simple, unfounded rumor can be just as deadly as a bullet to the head. If you found this deep dive into the anatomy of a murder compelling, please hit the like button and subscribe to our channel for more true crime stories. We want to hear your final thoughts in the comments below. After hearing the whole story, what is the single most haunting detail of this case for you? Let's continue the discussion.